see all these friendly faces. We really, truly thank you all for being here today. My father, Herb McMeekin, my sister Gail, and husband Russ. Back there, doing what Russ does best. He's a fantastic photographer. My brother Tom and his wife Diane, who just blessed us with a wonderful reading, and my wife Mary and daughter Grace. All really truly appreciate you making the effort to be here today. There's two of my mom's grandchildren, Darren and Jenna, unfortunately can't be with us here today, but they are very much with us in the moment, if you will. They really wish they could be here. I'd also like to say thank you to so many of you who've traveled such a great distance to share this moment with us. It's really quite touching that so many people would make such great efforts to come and share this moment with us. I'd like to take a moment to really think, what did her life really mean to all of us? What's her life's legacy? What are the values that we have an opportunity to consider now? Maybe embrace, maybe even take on sort of a personal stewardship if we'd like to. And this is one guy's opinion, but I'm sure it'd be great to have dialogue about this when we meet after. But the first value that truly comes to mind for me is her courage and positive thinking. And some of our friends, a lot of whom are here today, which we're very grateful for, would joke, if the cat has 9 lives, then she actually would be the queen lioness of all mankind. Think about what she's been through the last 10 years, especially starting at what we'll call the young age of 82. She rebounded from a very serious bout with lung cancer, actually spent the last decade of her life with literally one lung. She had breast cancer after that, then a heart attack, a stroke, normal ailments that we all seem to have, like back pain or stomach issues. These wouldn't even be a topic of conversation unless you really drilled down on her. She was just amazingly strong in positive thinking. And even with this final bout of cancer, which fortunately was very quick and relatively pain-free, and obviously had a very sad outcome, we really never heard a complaint from her. The only one I can recall actually was, gosh, I wish I could have some steak. This is a woman who couldn't eat. She was just missing the flavor of steak. We did get her some nice ice cream, and she was able to enjoy some of that. But this was the one that blew me away most of all. And literally 3 or 4 days before she passed, she was asking the nurse, when can I start physical therapy? I need to get my strength back. And this is how she approached every single obstacle she faced her entire life. And so there's no surprise that she would say that 3 or 4 days ahead. Another terrific gift that she leaves us is cheerfulness and as we've said, humor. She was known for the occasional one-liner, certainly, and a very dry sense of humor, which is a trait that at least one of her kids became saddled with. But during these last precious days, we had just a wonderful time. What a great gift it was to actually be able to spend some time knowing that your time was limited. I did share with her some thoughts, or shared with her the idea that I had some thoughts I might want to share at the service. And she said, well, you better tell them to me now. I don't trust you, and I certainly don't want people to get the wrong idea. So, those weren't her final words to me, but thoughtfulness is another thing that truly ranks very high on the list of my memories of her. And I suspect a lot of people here might share this as well. You can never visit her without leaving with something. It was usually in a plastic grocery bag or something like that. But it might be an article from the Hingham Journal. It might be a clipping from the Globe. Always there was a coupon. We absolutely never needed to cut coupons because she would always make sure we had plenty. For me, the gold coupon was the $5 Bertucci's coupon. Work across the street from Bertucci's, that was a great way. But she had an incredible way of just squirreling away things and moving like 2 or 3 times here in town and then produce something that was from 3 houses ago for a grandkid, literally 30 years later. And I'm looking over at Grace now, how many couple of toys or a stuffed animal or something you might have from my childhood that somehow appeared when you became a part of our family. And that was always very special and very thoughtful. The other thing that you have to think about is her sincere interest that she placed in others. And there's no wonder, even at her amazing age of 92, that there are so many people here to celebrate her life. She hungered literally for every detail about her kids, her grandkids. Every conversation you'd have would start off with questions about what's going on in your life. And part of this was, you can start off a question asking her about her life, and there's no answer because she's too interested in your own life. She wanted to know all about friends, all about families. She did her best to absolutely stay in touch with folks from around the country, especially since she grew up in Illinois. Her family, for the most part, is still in the Midwest. And she really took a sincere interest in that whole side of just the human experience, other people. Another thought that comes to mind, and I think another reason she stayed with us for so long, is she was so willing to try new things. And that includes computers. They would absolutely drive her nuts. I mean, does everybody get driven nuts by a computer at some point here? But it was important for her to stay up with technology and music trends, and movies, and fashion. And matter of fact, this past fall, she was feeling a little bit left out because she didn't have a smartphone and was wondering which smartphone would be the right smartphone for her. She particularly loved how email and eventually Facebook keeps us all connected. And that gets back to being able to learn about other people's lives. And one memory I'll never forget, because this was a very urgent moment. She found out some of the benefits of Gmail and said, I got to get that right now. Can you cancel my AOL account? And I was like, stop on your way home from work and do this now. Okay. That was Mom. The last thing that strikes me about what she's leaving behind is an interest in enjoying the pleasures of life. If you think about it, our mom lived almost 34,000 days. I don't think she ever took a single one of those days for granted. Not a one. She loved doing so many things. She loved playing bridge with friends, doing crafts, sharing crafts, redoing crafts. She enjoyed swimming, especially in Lake Winnipesaukee, where she made so many nice friends, especially the Goulds. She loved the Boston Pops, Arthur Fiedler especially, although Keith Lockhart, he was okay too. She also really loved playing the piano, and it's not something she did much in her last few years, but you can truly still hear the echoes of Satin Doll, which is one of her favorite songs, and almost always the first song she would play when she sat down. So, when I started this remembrance, and when my mom was still with us, the theme of this was really listening to Mom. There's a lot to listen to if you really sit down and try to do that. Plus, I've really never met any mom that didn't have something to say or an opinion to share. So, when those opinions are shared, though, so often we'll miss that true message. Our mom was not an overly emotive person. That just was not part of her being, and that's actually very common for folks that grew up during that time that was so hard. She used remarkably few words to express herself, if you think about it. But that's another reason we were so lucky to have a 3-week period of time when we found out she was sick and wasn't going to be with us. We could actually make up for a lot of lost time, a lot of lost conversation. So, but when you think about listening to Mom, and almost any mom, but our mom especially, I think, she wouldn't say it very often, this phrase, "I love you." Even in her final days, it was not a big part of how she would speak. But pretty much, if you think about it, every single thing she said was a way of saying that. Just a sample dialogue in the last week or so that she was with us. First question, how's Grace doing? Always the first question. Another little phrase she loves was, a little birdie told me something, and that's like, uh-oh. Her network was still working for her, even in her final little period of time. Have you talked to your brother today? Usually, especially the last few weeks, the answer I could say is yes. Gail too. Deflection. No, I'm not feeling any pain at all. How's Mary? And she obviously was feeling some pain. Then the last sort of art of her communication was really the art of silence. Sometimes she would just be quiet, which was really kind of a classy way of disagreeing. So, as we look out on all the great people who are here with us sharing this moment, I hazard to guess pretty much everybody has lost a family member somewhat recently or in the past few years. So thank you for sharing a part of your day today, as we remember my mom, or Betty, as she was to so many of you. I hope the memories we've shared here can somehow make you smile, as the poems from Elizabeth Tarbox implied from the beginning of the talk here. It's the memory of the happy times that help us overcome these sad times. So let's focus on those nice memories. Mom, we miss you. We love you. But we are very glad your pain is over. I look forward to hearing the many wise messages that you've embedded in my memory for the rest of my years, and very much look forward to paying all of those wise messages forward.